Hey, what's up, you guys? Welcome back to another episode of True Myths, One Lie, the game show in the form of a podcast all about myths, urban legends, conspiracies, all of the things that we don't fully understand. I'm your host, Anthony Manella, and the way that the game works is I'm going to tell 3 stories, 2 of which people claim are true and 1 that is completely made up. It is up to my guests and everyone at home to try and figure out which story is the lie. Today's first guest once made me watch Space Jam 4 times in one night by myself, Austin Murphy.
Yeah, I did that. I honestly think Toph might have seen it one of the times, though.
Yeah, no, I saw the first, half of it.
What happened was you were staying the night at my house, and you kept falling asleep every single time, so you were like, let's watch it again. I'm like, you didn't even watch it once. And then you'd fall asleep again. So I wound up watching it multiple times by myself.
It was so weird because we all woke up at the same time, and then Austin was like, Space Jam!
Yeah.
We put it back on, and then went right back to sleep.
I'm sorry.
I think you did the same thing with me and Twilight.
I would not doubt that. I love Twilight. I'm going to be honest.
I love it too, don't worry. Today's second guest once took a little girl's toy house out of someone else's trash, pushed it all the way back to his own house, and then kept it in his own backyard for Lord knows how long. Zach Zicardi.
And who did that thing with me?
Me.
Anthony Manella.
It wasn't like a regular dollhouse. It was like one of those houses you walk inside of, right?
We were barely big enough to be in there.
Yeah.
At least one at a time. We threw it in some woods behind my house, and that was our fort for a day.
Yeah. And today's third guest once thought that the American flag's name was Gina. My brother, Christopher Manella.
I don't know what to say about that.
It's a pretty name.
Is it true?
Yeah.
That's my mom's name.
He literally used to point to flags and go, Gina! And we were like, why do you think that?
I don't know.
America.
I mean, he was like 4 or whatever.
Younger
but
than that.
before we jump into today's topic, we are going to take a quick break. We will be right back. There's so much going on in the world right now, whether it's something you're excited about, like the world opening back up and getting to see your friends or going to concerts, or maybe it's things you'd rather not think about, like just as everything seems to be going back to normal, things are reversing again. I mean, you can't control the vibes out there, but you can control the vibes in your head with a pair of Raycon wireless earbuds. I use my Raycons for hours on end when I'm making my thumbnails or I'm color grading videos. They're always my go-to. And the new everyday earbuds look, feel, and sound better than ever. They have an improved rubber oil look, and they have different sized gel tips, so no matter how big or small your ears are, they're always gonna fit. Plus, there's 3 new sound profiles. Pure mode, which is for podcast listening, blues, instrumental. Balanced mode for rock and heavy metal music. And bass mode for hip-hop, EDM, reggae, etc. There's also an all-new awareness mode for when you need to listen to your surroundings instead. They offer 8 hours of playtime and up to 32 hours of battery life. Plus, they have a built-in mic so you can take calls with the press of 1 button. I will probably never be using that feature because no one calls me, but in the rare chance that happens, that'd be nice. Not to mention they start at half the price of other premium audio brands, but they sound just as good. And they come with a 45-day happiness guarantee. Right now, True Myths One Lie listeners can get 15% off of their Raycon order at buyraycon.com/true. That's buyraycon.com/true to save 15% off on Raycons. Buyraycon.com/true. Thank you to Raycon for sponsoring today's episode. And we're back. Okay, so guys, today's topic, it's kind of a sequel. We've done this topic before, but we're telling even more stories because we are talking all about the Warren cases.
Oh.
So I know Christopher's excited. He knows what this is, and I know Austin is familiar with it. Zach, do you know what that is?
Nope.
Okay. Have you seen any of the Conjuring movies?
I think I saw the first one in theaters a while back when it came out.
Basically, the 2 paranormal investigators that those movies are about, Ed and Lorraine Warren, they were real paranormal investigators, and they're supposedly all based on true stories. So those movies take some of their most intense cases. Today we're talking about some of the more underground cases that the movies are not based on. They're a couple. They're a married couple, for those of you who don't know. Ed and Lorraine. Lorraine was a medium. She was a psychic. She could see things and feel things that other people can't feel. And Ed is a demonologist, so he knows how to perform spells, and he knows how to reverse things and bless houses and so on and so forth. And he studies demons and spirits and all of these things.
They got paid to do it?
Yeah, I think that was their job. I think it was their full-time thing. You guys ready to jump into story number 1?
Story number 1.
There was a boy who had a lot of time on his hands. He picked up a particular hobby. It's speculum. Speculum is a type of black magic known as mirror magic. Mirrors are freaky. As you guys know from the last episode that you were all in.
You remember that well.
The sequel.
Double sequel.
This person would spend hours and hours practicing spells in this mirror. Hours turned into days, days turned into weeks. Months go by, sitting in the dark, practicing spells, and eventually he's able to use the mirror, he claims, to see the future. He could project what people are currently doing into that mirror. He often liked to do this with people that he didn't like. So if he projected someone in there, and he saw that they were currently walking down a set of stairs, he could push this person down the stairs. It was spiteful justice. He was doing this to get back at people that he wasn't a fan of. However, he made some mistakes. And in doing these mistakes, all of the evil that he thought he was inflicting on other people wound up backfiring. And it wound up getting let out into his own house. He starts hearing footsteps around the house. He's hearing breathing, he's hearing moans throughout his entire home. Started kind of slow, and then before he knew it, pieces of furniture were getting picked up, lifted, thrown across the room. So he called Ed and Lorraine Warren. They show up and they find this boy in a panic. He's absolutely horrified. He explains to them what's going on. They experience this, they see the things getting picked up and thrown around. So much so that their car got involved. Their car drove itself into the middle of the road and started blocking oncoming traffic. So Ed decides the best course of action to take for this is to go in and reverse the spell that the boy was putting on the house. So Ed goes in, he not only reverses the spell, but he also nullifies any future spells, just in case. However, the boy is still terrified. He wants them to take the mirror with them, just to be safe. So they take the mirror out, and they bring it back to their museum with them. And it rests in their Museum of the Occult to this day. For those of you who are maybe unfamiliar, Ed and Lorraine Warren have a whole museum full of objects that at some point were haunted, or said to be at least. This is real. You can legitimately go visit this museum if you want. You could go on a tour and see all the things. That's where the Annabelle doll is, the real doll, so on and so forth. And this object rests in that museum. That is the end of story number 1. I'm going to give you guys some time to discuss. Go.
So what do we think, guys? Is this mirror really in this Museum of the Occult?
Well, do they use the real one in the movies, Anthony?
The real museum?
Yeah.
No. It's a set.
They
in the
recreate it
movies.
though, right?
They recreate it.
So I've seen the room. I don't really remember what's in there.
So that doesn't help at all.
There could be a mirror in there.
All right. You want me to hit you guys with the facts?
Yeah. Let's
So,
hear it.
We haven't heard story 2 or 3, clearly. But
Communications major.
but I'm led to believe that this story is fake. Why? My own biases and anecdotes. I played this one video game, came out recently. The point of the game is you look into a wormhole and you can see people through it where they're going. And that makes me think of this mirror. You know what I'm saying? Maybe there's a connection between the two and the common media of today and this story. So I think this is fake, honestly, right off the bat. It is a literally one-to-one connection. So
Austin with the cultural references.
Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely sounds like it would be fun to, like, a fun concept for a video game. But as far as, being a real story, I mean, it personally sounds a little too far-fetched to me to seem like something that would really happen.
Yeah.
So, but, as I said in the last episode I was on, I'm kind of skeptical to begin with. But, there are some ghost stories I'm willing to entertain. Putting curses onto a mirror that takes over your house and someone else's car out front just seems a little bit far-fetched.
years of practice, too.
All I'm saying is if you think this one's far-fetched,
Oh, no.
you're in for a treat.
Oh,
Nothing's
or are we
crazy.
in for a trick?
Or you're in for a trick. Yeah, trick or treat.
I have nothing more to say about story number 1. The one plausibility thing I will say is with the car. This is one thing I think is plausible. Because it's like, I did not see that coming. You know what I mean? I feel a lot of it is like, oh, they're messing with the house. They're messing with the furniture. When I see a lot of these horror movies, I don't see the car getting messed with
It
too
is
much.
weird, yeah.
That's like the safe
Usually
place.
they don't mess with anything outside of the general area where it's taking place, which is a little weird.
So, but that means
I agree.
that actually makes me think that it is real though, because it's like something I might not have seen before. It's a unique thing,
You're right, yeah.
Okay. Story number 2. So there's a woman who was on a game show and she miraculously won $100,000 on the show. Now she's sitting there thinking, I get to use this money to buy my dream house. Little does she know that something is gonna go wrong. A few weeks later, her husband gets into an absolutely horrible car accident. And most of the money goes to paying off the medical bills. However, she decides, all right, maybe not necessarily my dream house, but I'm still gonna buy a house anyway. So her and her husband wind up moving. They move into a new house, and her husband is put in a wheelchair. So she's left to do all of the renovations on her own. The only thing that he can provide is moral support, but she's happy anyway. Time goes by, and this calm, cool, collected husband of hers eventually starts to change a little bit. Before she knows it, he starts having some temper issues. He's getting very easily agitated, a lot of anger issues. He even eventually escalates and threatens to kill himself. She doesn't think too much of this in the sense that she thinks that this is his way of, this is him reacting to his condition because he's frustrated with himself and the fact that he's put in a wheelchair now. Until one night, when she's sleeping, and in the middle of the night she wakes up and she sees a dark figure sitting in her husband's wheelchair. She's like, oh my gosh, maybe this thing that's been a part of his wheelchair could be the reason why he's acting like this. She wakes him up and she tells him what she just saw. And instead of him being scared, he's relieved because he's been seeing this thing. In fact, he's been seeing multiple of these dark figures around their house for weeks. So now he finally feels validated. It's not in his head. He's not crazy. So what they do is they call Ed and Lorraine Warren. Ed and Lorraine come over, and immediately upon entering the room, Lorraine spots a dark figure in the corner of the room. They say, okay, the best way to go about this is to bless the house. So they bless the house. Ed and Lorraine decide to bless the wheelchair and swap out that wheelchair for a different wheelchair just to be safe too. They take the wheelchair back to their museum with them. The wheelchair remains in the museum to this day. And they decided though, even though they didn't see any more dark figures, it's probably best for them to just move out anyway. Rather be safe than sorry. So they move out of that house. They have not had any more experiences. The new people who have moved into that house say that they have seen no dark figures. And that is the end of story number 2. I'm gonna give you guys some time to discuss. Go.
Well, part of me believes that because that sounds like my sleep paralysis demons, like sitting in my room staring at me.
Have you seen them?
No, but like they're always like in the back corner, like of my mind.
So you've
like
so you've had this happen. You've had sleep paralysis happen to you.
I've had sleep paralysis happen to me, and I feel like I'm about to turn around and see something like that. But usually, like I wake up before that happens.
Okay.
This sounds like it is like multiple steps further and scarier than that. But I mean, to me, it sounds like a believable ghost story. Is it too believable? What do you guys think?
It was a lot more chill, I feel like, compared to the last one.
Was I the only person thinking like this is totally unbelievable?
Why do you say?
Why?
Maybe this is gonna go over a lot of the viewers' heads, but like in numeric, like in terms of numbers and metrics, this one won $100,000.
This took place in the 70s.
Place in the 70s. Okay. So if you can count for inflation, that's a little more fair. But she has all of these medical bills and whatnot, and she can still afford a home. That alone is what had me taking a gas.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah,
because that is like that to me. I was like, that's crazy. So that would make more sense if you account for inflation. That's what literally the whole time I was like, that's crazy. Like, I'll keep listening, but like that alone is like a red flag for me. But if that took place in the 70s, that's a little more fair.
All fair points. Anything else?
Is there any reason to be skeptical of this one?
The multiple demons.
What do you mean multiple demons?
They said that he saw like multiple things in the house, black figures. Is there usually only one?
That sounds like shadow people to me. I don't think they were demons because they would have gave him a problem if they were.
I guess what struck me as odd is that like these demons seem to only be haunting this family in this house.
In this wheelchair.
Yeah. Like
maybe someone died in the wheelchair, something like that.
I guess it must have been something like that because, you know, like you said at the end, Anthony, you know, new people moved into the house, experienced nothing. They moved out of the house and experienced nothing.
Right.
So I guess the only common thread would be the wheelchair.
Yeah, I think that's why they took the wheelchair. I think it's supposed to have come from that because prior to that they didn't experience anything, but it also was a new house. So like, I guess who knows? It could be either one. I think it's up for interpretation. Anyway, we have a break coming up soon. But before we get into our break, we are going to play a quick little mini game. So the two of you, Toph and Austin, have played this game once before. We're going to play a little multiple choice game. I'm going to list off 4 bizarre mythical creatures. 3 of these are people swear that these are real, people really believe in these, and a 4th one is entirely made up. It's just like our main game. So, you ready to play?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So your first one, the Vodyanoi, is an evil spirit who lives in bodies of water and likes to drown humans. Anyone bathing in water after sunset on a Sunday risks being sucked into the water. He can take on many different forms that help him fool and trap his victims.
Sounds menacing. Not gonna be in the water on Sunday.
Good point. Okay, number 2. Clued is said to have the ability to generally take the form of a winged black dog with a blue flame flickering around its face. But some say it's a werewolf or even a manifestation of the devil himself.
So he doesn't do like cute tricks or anything?
He does not do any, well, I mean, maybe he does too. Even evil people have cute aspects, right?
That's nice.
Any thoughts on that one?
Is this like a fire you flicker on its face? Is it like a mane, like a line?
It's kind of just like around it.
Oh, so it's just on fire.
Kind of, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
got it.
Kumaho is a beautiful fox. It has to eat the liver of 100 people to take on the form of a human. It's trapped inside of a painting, and in order to be set free, someone must draw 9 tails on the fox in the picture.
Wait a minute.
Well, I believe that. That's the origin story of Ninetales the Pokemon.
Is it really?
Yeah, Ninetales. Why do you think it has 9 tails?
Or Naruto the
Fiery
Ninetales Fox.
Number 4. Raniko. It's an all-white deer with 4 heads. It's said to appear to people who have recently committed crimes, and it hums a particular tune. When this tune is heard, it means that karma is coming back for the person who heard it.
Can you hum the tune?
I don't know what the tune is. I'm sorry. Those are your 4 mythical creatures. You guys have to figure out which one is made up. Go.
That third one was just so weird, yo.
This game was a lot easier the first time we played it, I think.
We got it wrong the first time.
They were all pretty obscure.
Right.
I feel like the second one seemed like the most suspect. Clued to me.
Whatever.
Yeah, Clued.
Is that his name?
Yeah. Clued is number 2.
How do we spell Clued?
K-L-U-D-D-E.
That's weird.
Can I have the origin of the word, please?
I'm not aware of the origin of the word. I'm sorry.
I honestly think the 4th one is the one that is the fake one. That's just me. Got that self-righteous song about vengeance.
The song, yeah. I like that. Made
I
up.
could believe that too.
I think the third one, though, is just so ludicrous. I just want to throw that out again.
It's ludicrous enough to be real, though.
Yeah,
right?
no, 100%. It's 100 livers, painted 9 times.
Number 5.
Oh, of course. Like, how does that make sense? How does it eat 100 livers if it has to be painted?
I think the painted part comes first,
Yeah,
right?
you have to free it from the painting, and then once it's free, it's a fox. And then this fox has to eat 100 livers to become a person.
What a journey.
Yeah. Wow.
Thoughts, Christopher?
Man, I don't know. Yeah, maybe the 4th one. Or the 2nd one.
Yeah, those are my 2.
Let's go with number 4.
Really?
I think so. I mean, 2 was the only thing that struck me weird about 2 is that, like, I don't know, the devil is posing as this flying dog thing. It just seemed like a little easy to make up.
Yeah.
But I could see that about number 4 too. So
Then yeah, 4.
y'all feeling confident about that?
I would like to go for 4, yeah.
Going for number 4?
Yeah.
Yep.
Locking it in.
They are locking in number 4, which is correct.
Oh, wow.
You guys got it. Yeah, so people claim that the other 3 in different cultures and religions, people believe these to be real. And the first one to me is absolutely horrifying because if I'm ever in a body of water and I just get sucked in by the Vodyanoi of all things. Anyway, we have to take a quick break. We will be right back. There's so much going on in the world right now, whether it's finally being able to see your friends because things are opening back up, or going to concerts, or maybe it's things you'd rather not think about, like just as everything seems like it was getting back to normal, everything seems to be getting bad again. But I mean, the vibes out there are not in your control. What is in your control are the vibes that go on inside of your head, and you can do that with a pair of Raycon wireless earbuds. I literally use my Raycons all the time to have music playing in the background while I'm working, or even when I'm just going and getting a snack. They're always my go-to whether I want to pump myself up or wind myself down. And the new everyday earbuds look, feel, and sound better than ever. They have an all-new rubber oil look, and they come with different size gel tips, so no matter how big or small you want them, they'll always fit your ears. Plus, they have 3 new sound profiles. Pure mode, which is for podcast listening, blues, instrumental. Balanced mode for more rock and heavy metal music. And bass mode for hip-hop, EDM, reggae, so on and so forth. Raycons offer 8 hours of playtime and up to 32 hours of battery life. They start at half the price of other premium audio brands, but they sound just as good. Plus, they come with a 45-day happiness guarantee. Right now, True Myths One Lie listeners can get 15% off of their Raycon order at buyraycon.com/true. That's buyraycon.com/true to save 15% on Raycons. Buyraycon.com/true. Thank you again to Raycon for sponsoring today's episode. And we are back. Okay, you guys ready to hear story number 3?
I think so.
Yeah, let's do this.
All right, story number 3. This story is all about a teenage girl. She did not have many friends. She was kind of lonely. And for whatever reason, she decided the cure for this would be to communicate with someone through a Ouija board. And she does. She makes contact with a spirit. And at first, this spirit seems super nice. It's telling her things like, you look so pretty today. It's telling her, oh, you look so good with your hair up. Wear your hair up. And it's even saying things like, you're so lucky to be alive. You know, just normal spirit things.
That last one.
Quirky spirits, you know. So anyway, she is communicating with this thing, and this thing tells her that it is a teenage boy who died pretty young in life. But that's nothing but a lie. It is just preying upon her emotions. It is using her so it can get exactly what it wants. So one day, the teenage girl wants to see who she's been talking to so badly because she made a connection with this person. She really wants to meet him. So she asks the spirit to manifest itself, and that was the permission that it needed. It manifests itself, but it is not any ordinary teenage boy. She can't even see it. It manifests itself in the form of an evil spirit, and it just starts wreaking havoc in her house. First, it just starts with vandalism, bushes and shrubs being torn apart and pulled out, tires being slashed, and oddly enough, even rocks are falling from the sky. She calls Ed and Lorraine Warren. Ed and Lorraine Warren show up, and they start interviewing this girl and the family, and the first things they ask, which are the things that they usually ask when they walk into a home, is anyone here seeing a psychiatrist? Is anyone here involved in the occult? Has anyone been playing with any Ouija boards? That's when our teenage girl confesses to everything. She admits that she kind of had a little spirit boyfriend that she met through the Ouija board, and things from there were not so pleasant. So Ed and Lorraine Warren decide to do their thing, go around and explore, try and find the spirit and contact it. Lorraine makes contact with this spirit, and what she discovers is that it is not just an ordinary evil spirit, it's a demonic spirit. And it realizes that it's been caught. It gets even more aggressive. It slices a cross into Ed's arm, and it even picks up our main character's 15-year-old brother and throws him across the room. That's when Ed and Lorraine Warren realize we need to bring in an exorcist. So an exorcist comes over, it calls out for the spirit, and it asks it to show itself. And it does. And it's a 7-foot-tall figure with horns. So the exorcist casts the demon out of the house using some holy water. It cleanses and blesses the entire rest of the house. And the family didn't have issues after that. Everything slowed down, went back to normal. They were able to live in this house free of any more spirits, any more demons. But they did have to live with the trauma and all of the damage that it cost them, which was about $5,000 worth of repairs that this demon placed upon their house. And that is story number 3. I'm going to give you guys some time to discuss. Go.
So how do we feel about the demon catfishing?
Yeah, this is actually Max and Neve went in
Max
there.
and Neve.
And they were like, you got yourself a demon.
But so if you were to see the movies, all three of them, and you were to make your own, it would sound like this. This is the most similar to the movies.
It sounds like the plot is movie worthy, and yet there's no movie about it. What does that tell you?
There was an exorcism in the first movie.
I don't know, man. This demon was way more vicious. He was way more violent. Acted in this story was way more thought out.
Way more.
But
So many more details.
when you look at the direction of the story, it's a little strange, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like if it was so severe that, was it Ed? Warren, if it gave him a scar of a cross on his arm, I feel like that experience would be like movie worthy.
Right.
That's her.
You know?
That's her.
So now, Zach, you said that the first one was too far-fetched and unbelievable, but this one takes it way further. So do you think this one is far-fetched too?
I don't think it's far-fetched. I mean, it sounds like a lot of like demon haunting stories. Like, you know, the first one I thought was far-fetched in the sense that there were these spells being cast on this mirror.
Okay, so
and-
you didn't think that the backstory for the first one was as believable.
Yeah, correct.
Okay, I see. So we're gonna recap all three stories, and then I'm gonna give you some final time to discuss and make your decisions. So story number one was about a boy who learns speculum, which is mirror magic. He starts to project people and things into the mirror, but he makes a mistake. The mistake goes wrong, evil spirits are let out into his own home, and he has to have Ed and Lorraine Warren come and fix his mistake. Story number two is about a woman whose husband gets into a horrible accident. They buy a new home together. She's renovating it. Her husband is acting differently, acting strange. She wakes up one night, finds shadowy figures in the house. He's been seeing the same thing, and they have Ed and Lorraine Warren come in and bless the house. Story number three was all about a teenage girl who was lonely. She meets somebody through a Ouija board. She gets comfortable with him. He gains her trust. She lets him in, and it starts wreaking havoc among the home. Ed and Lorraine Warren come, and they can't stop it either. They need to bring in an exorcist. The exorcist has to cleanse the house with holy water and cast it out. Those are your three stories. I'm going to give you guys some time to discuss. Go.
So we always usually do it like this, where we always get torn between two, and then we say one of them we really couldn't care less, and if it's that one, we're not upset. If it's the second one, I'm not upset.
Me too. I was thinking that.
Fair.
If it's the second one, I'm not
I
upset.
do not think it's the second one.
What I would say about the first one is what we said before. It's totally crazy about magic. It sounds like it's from a video game. Not for me. The third one, though, it's totally sensationalized. Like, it's just like such a like spectacle. You know what I mean? It's just like
It's like one of the movies.
yeah,
basically.
exactly, literally. So it's so tough to figure out which one it would be.
The first one doesn't give me like Ed and Lorraine vibes at all for some reason. Like it just feels so different.
Yeah.
But that could be why it's not real. I don't know.
Yeah, I could see that too, and I would believe your judgment on that since you're more familiar with them.
Yeah.
Yeah, the third one is what I would expect to hear from stories like this. Yeah, I don't know. The first one just seems the most different from the other two to me.
I also think it's an often theme on the show we've seen where people would just choose the longest, most drawn out story because it seems like it's the most fleshed out one, and a lot of times people are just like, it's not.
Yeah.
And that is what the first story is versus the third story.
Yeah, they call it Occam's razor. It's a idea that the simplest answer is usually the correct one. So with all that being said, are we all in agreement?
Story number one.
Yeah.
Lock it in.
Locking in story number one.
You're locking in story number one? Guys, story number one is not correct.
It is 3, right?
You want to take a second guess?
Yeah, lock in story number 3.
Yeah.
It's number 2.
This happens
is
every
number
time.
2.
This happens every single time.
But like I said-
always rule one out, and it's that one.
I'm okay with it though because, like I said,
But why does that? We gotta stop doing that.
Like that? How do we stop it?
Every time. We can vouch.
We have literally
This
been taught
happens every
since
time.
grade school a process of elimination, and that's what we did.
We've been incorrect. Like
So what
85%
else
of
do we
the
do
time.
though? It's all I know.
Bro, you know what was weird about number 2? He said that he saw multiple demons in the house,
I said
but
that.
there was just one wheelchair demon.
Also, the properties, bro. Can you just read the beginning of that stuff again? It's so ludicrous.
Well, she won $100,000 and then she was gonna go buy a home.
I was like, dude.
Now maybe she's making a down payment on a home,
right?
But if it's
a dream home though.
Dream home,
yeah,
dream home. That's true.
Yeah, we definitely overlooked that a little bit too quickly.
All right, so Anthony, do you want to cut out the last 5 minutes and we can try again?
Story number 2, please. I'd like
we
to
are
lock
locking in story number 2.
Yep. So, guys, you are locking in story number 2?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That is our gut instinct.
You are correct. And since you got it right,
oh boy,
I'm going to throw you guys a pizza party.
Pizza party!
I love some pizza.
Wow, you guys all get to pick from a goodie basket too. You all get a
for
prize.
Halloween? Let's go.
I hope I get a bouncy ball.
Yeah, I was considering for a future episode, I think I'm gonna get a little basket, and when you guys win mini games and when you win episodes, you get to pick a little stupid trinket. They're not gonna be anything good. It's really just for the joke of the show.
Yeah,
but
it should be like,
but I'm gonna want them anyway, and I'm gonna be very upset when I don't get one.
it should be like a toy nose.
Yeah, because Ryan keeps saying that you guys need some sort of incentive for when you guys like get things right or win. So I think I'm gonna put one of those together. I'll probably start it at the end of October.
My incentive is that I don't want to be 0-2 like I am right now.
I was gonna say, what kind of? Did you see how let down we were when we lost? What more incentive do you need?
I did not want to be 0-2 going in today,
heartbroken.
knowing that I probably would be.
Hey, if you do one more, it's 100% chance. If you think about it,
That's not how statistics work.
apples to oranges.
I see your argument, but it definitely doesn't work.
In practicality, no way.
Regardless, this is a fun team. I love having the
This
three
is
of you
monsters,
together on. We're gonna do this again soon. Thank everyone at home for watching. Thank you guys for playing. If you're listening anywhere where you get your podcasts, make sure to give this a rate and review. It really helps us out. And don't forget to subscribe to the podcast for free. If you're watching the video version, make sure to give this video a like, leave a comment letting us know what you thought, and subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss when we post new episodes. If you have stories of your own, make sure to send them in to me at truemythsonlie@gmail.com or at Culture35 on Instagram, whichever you prefer. I can use real stories if you have them for the real stories, or I can use fake stories for the lies. That is about it. We will see you guys again next Tuesday with a brand new episode of True Myths One Lie, and on Friday with a brand new comedy skit. Bye, guys.